not great air drift means that sometimes he can just die off stage as well. So I don't know.
That's kind of been the name of the game. So on the side stream earlier on, I had the pleasure of watching OwlBBs fight TF to get to this point, so for the winners qualifier. And the way that the pacing of the set really went was that, like, the Kazuya would just get all of these percents, get these crazy combos that I know we're going to also see from Falco. But then it got to that 140, 150%, and then Owl would land a back air at 90 mid-stage, and it would just kill.
Yeah.
So it's one of those where, like, obviously Azalea has got those combos down. It's just whether Azalea is going to be able to finish their food, and he's really got to be able to not only get the percent, but you need to be able to get the kills, because Owl obviously is playing one of the heaviest characters in the game, has got ridiculous kill potential off of stray hits, which is the real crux of the issue. And we can see there, back air at 120, not quite being enough just yet. Azalea just tempting away, and it's situations like this which we see time and time again, and Owl's really good at recognizing when players are going to be aggressive and using that belly armor on moves like Nair and forward tilt just to catch them out. However, Azalea was just one step ahead with that side B, and we can see at the moment just both of these players trying to land these stray hits and get these kills.
I mean, one of the things that you notice about veteran players is their survivability. They recognize what your kill options are, and they just make it as awkward as possible. We're already seeing that from Owl. He's living at 189 because he knows that if Azalea is trying to kill off a straight hit, it's down tilt, it's back air, it's not much else, especially at this percent. However, Fair has come out, but I was going to say there's no combo route, so up tilt wouldn't work. But it can be so awkward sometimes to kill a character this heavy. And Owl is definitely going to take advantage. Took a stock that did not look even and made it seem even.
And that's the wild thing. One thing that I really like about Azalea's gameplay is that there would be so many players that would almost try to force that issue. You'd see the fact that King K. Rool is at 170, 180 and just like try to really push for that kill. But Azalea is like, look, if I've got to kill every stock at 190% before there, so be it. Like, if I get the kill, I get the kill. And if I'm killing first, I'm still winning the set, even if it takes a little bit longer than I would necessarily like. It's just that maturity that has come with his gameplay of being sort of, you know, competing over these past few years, just recognizing that eventually the kills will arrive, even if it takes a little longer than you want.
Yeah, not going to find it with the down air either. Got to be careful here. Again, just going for the ledge trap. And yeah, so much of it is just about trying to keep your opponent in the corner, but Owl's defense is so solid.
Just getting a bit of 3% there. Cable's armor during that side B still being active when that reflector comes out, so no sort of advantage state for either of them, but just that little bit of extra chip damage, which honestly, with the way that we've seen this first stock and this second stock going, you need every single little bit of chip that you can get. And OwlBBs has got Azalea in the corner, the forward air, center stage, just to send Owl below, and being able to recover at such an awkward angle for Falco. You've really got to just try and, you know, it's so not worth going off stage against K. Rool unless you've got a hard read. But even then, you know, we had a forward air at 190, we had a down tilt at 180. Even if it takes 200% every time, Azalea is more than happy to go the distance, and that's why we're seeing him in the lead so far.
Exactly, and with Azalea's combo routes, it's not that hard to get K. Rool to 200.
No, exactly that. But the trade finally, you know, holding the stock for an awfully long time, 150, 160%, finally going to lose out to that forward air from the King. However, see Azalea just trying to get a drag down neutral air, try and get something started, the up throw into the down air, reset, nothing quite coming as of yet. Azalea electing to just get backstage control, reset into neutral, going for that trade, recognizing Owl just throwing out armored hit after armored hit. So a trade realistically best option that you can go for, and the up air at a disadvantage is such a quick move, and yet it's something that I don't really see other K. Rool's trying to go for.
Yeah, it is a very fast move, and it does have a lot of armor as well. It's because it's really laggy. It's the reason a lot of other K. Rools don't go for it, but Owl is so selective in when he uses it that hasn't really come to bite him yet.
Again, we can just see this patience from Azalea, even when Owl has taken center stage, throwing out that crown time and time again. However, calling out that spot dodge and getting the grab, great maneuverability from Azalea just to avoid these single hits from OwlBBs and the lingering hit of that forward air is going to do it. Perfect timing on the forward throw, just being able to get your shield up in time for the crown. No reversals going on here, and a back air, like I said, there must have been about 600% put on over the course of that game on OwlBBs. However, it is Azalea who remains on top in this game 1.
Yeah, and recognizing the percentage that he's at, and the fact that he could die, and the fact that Owl was trying to kill him. Owl went in with the jump in down air, and Azalea said, "Okay, I know that's coming. I'm gonna back air and die. We're both at kill percent, so you're gonna go for it."
And I think that's the thing as well. A lot of the power of heavyweight characters, you see it in characters like K. Rool, like Donkey Kong, Incineroar as well, a particularly egregious one, where once you start to respect them too much, it's a really delicate tightrope between not respecting them at all and getting hit with the good options that they do have, and almost respecting them too much where you're playing scared.
Yeah.
And it's a really delicate tightrope that Azalea is just pirouetting over perfectly at the moment. However, nearly going to lose that first stop back throw from OwlBBs, the blunderbuss trying to catch with the wind box. However, it's not quite coming to fruition as of yet, and we can just see Azalea time and time again, but doesn't quite manage to get the conversion of the back air. Second chance at life.
Yeah, very clutch DA in there to save that stock, just about living here, but at a massive deficit already in this game. And percentage deficits matter a lot against heavies. That big up air is going to take it. And now you can see Owl poking away with these fares. A little bit less projectiles now, just trying to control space with some of these aerials, because these projectiles aren't really working out, right? Falco Laser, Falco Shine means that they're not going to be as effective, but Azalea still can't quite get the timing on that up throw or that back throw. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of invincibility on Falco's throws, but...
Yeah, I do wonder whether... Yeah, I think with the forward throw, it's just a really tricky timing to get. You've always got to... You don't want to go for maybe like a longer throw, sort of like, because back throw is going to be quite quick, up throw is going to be quite quick. Down throw is a little bit longer, but again, if you want that better positioning, even if you get hit a crown sort of as soon as the throw is over, OwlBBs realistically doesn't have time to get that reversal. So it's a really sort of interesting dynamic where Azalea's got to have that perfect timing to either armor through it or get hit just at a point where Owl can't retaliate.
Yeah, exactly. Azalea just trying to make it back to stage. Oh, they do find a way out of the corner though.
There we go, just another lot to OwlBBs, relentless with these hitboxes. The retreating forward air, so tricky to get past, and this time an approaching one just to give him both options here. 3 stocks to 1 in the favor of OwlBBs, and just using that hitbox on the up B to give himself a little bit of breathing room, allowing that neutral get up and straight back in to center stage. Azalea getting that tiny bit of damage and going for that second up tilt. I don't think Azalea was quite ready for that first up tilt to connect. He just went for a second one for a bit of insurance. 41% here on Falco. This is looking really dangerous. We're getting awfully close to a 3-star.
I told you. 1, hamster character dies early. 2, Owl in those situations is looking to kill you. Beautiful setup there. And again, it's that situation we saw at the end of game 1 where Owl's at like 130 and Azalea's at 70, but this time it goes in Owl's favor. And he gets before he was looking for down air to up smash, now he gets 1-2 side B up smash. And yeah, he knows that's going to kill plenty early.
Yeah, great stuff from Owl. A 3-stock, a 3-stock as that comeback from game 2 as well. After the way that Azalea was really sort of weaving in and out of K. Rool's range, sort of showing that perfect balance of respect, but knowing when to go in, knowing how to get those kills. And Owl just flicking a different switch and just immediately catching on to all of those adjustments that Azalea's made. So, going to be seeing what Azalea is able to do in game 3, of course. They have had some experience against Owl before in this, in this very city here at Smash Mania in Southampton, of course.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a tall order for the Falco main. They've really got a lot to, that's a big swing in the favor of OwlBBs. But let's see how they retaliate.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how well they do and how well they adjust, because there's so many little setups and things that you have to be aware of, and it can be so awkward. But being able to counterpick to a triplat here, big deal. Big deal. We can already see a more defensive situation as well from Azalea, just saying, you know what, I'm going to camp you with lasers. I'm not going to deal with any of these shenanigans. But they are going to risk cornering themselves.
I think that's the good thing about Battlefield, right, is that when you've got that top platform, the thing is with Falco is that in terms of that vertical movement, their jump is so high and so quick that you've got great options to be able to sort of keep your vertical distance, but it's the horizontal distance that is really where Falco can struggle outside of that side B. So having that top platform just as an option, however, OwlBBs is saying, hey, I can send you to the top platform on the Angel platform, just above it, getting that back air and killing ridiculously early, only 48% on King K. Rool. However, Azalea, let's see how they can retaliate.
They've got to be careful here. Still can't quite get the timing down on that up throw crown setup. Starting to use the crown for themselves, though. This could be big. Again, like almost the worst aspect of K. Rool's crown is the fact that you can pick it up and he can't.
Honestly, it's so tricky. But yeah, it's these really, like Azalea having to play this gently, because even though the big thing as well that we haven't really spoken about in terms of K. Rool living this long is the rage factor, right?
Yep.
Being able to be almost at borderline max rage every stock means that those kills are just going to happen earlier and earlier. And it is OwlBBs with that forward air going 3 stocks to 1 up against Azalea, managing to get that side B, but they don't get much of a punish of it, and just turning around that back air, but that one the right way around, gonna take that stock 160%, and Azalea slowly but surely beginning to make this comeback.
Great stuff so far, but still a full stock down, trying to keep Owl pinned in the corner here, but Owl's defensive game has been so solid throughout the set.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you mentioned earlier on, right? It's that survivability that, you know, some of these players who've been playing for a while, and particularly with a character like King K. Rool, where you can just sort of get comboed to death, particularly, you know, with characters like this, we're seeing already that percent racked up 82% in a heartbeat, but it's just being able to live up to those 150, 160%, you're really getting the value out of every single stock, and we haven't seen Owl lose a stock all that early across the entirety of the set so far, and it's because, as you mentioned, just that defensive gameplay, just recognizing the kill conditions that Falco has and doing everything in his power to avoid getting hit by those up tilts, getting hit by those side Bs, just so that it means that Azalea, they've got to rely on those stray hits.
Yeah, and the more you're relying on stray hits in this matchup, the worse things get, because K. Rool's stray hits do a lot more. Got to be careful here. Yep. If your recovery isn't almost instant and you give K. Rool the time to set up, unless you've got some awkward mix-up to go with, like, you are just going to get down aired. It's so difficult to deal with, because with Falco's recovery, like, you wait so long before you go anywhere. It can be so rough. And again, you're light and you're a fast faller, so those down airs are going to kill so much earlier.
Yeah, and you've also got to pick your poison in the matchup as well, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously the other option is the side B, but we've seen that Owl is more than happy to try and cover that side B to ledge, being able to use the Neb and the armor, being able to just go out with those forward airs as well. At that, you know, even at 100%, that forward air is either going to kill or it's going to get you in a position to get another one, which will then kill. So Azalea having to really mix it up each and every time, and then with the up Bs underneath, like you said, once Owl's got that little bit of breathing room to get the set up, it's a done deal at that point, and Owl making this set look like a bit of a done deal at the moment. A really strong lead in the favor of the K. Rool main currently. Azalea, even with center stage, is struggling to get anything started against this Crocodile, but on the platform, let's see what we can get. A couple of arrows into the reset, 2 up airs and back into the corner as well. Azalea evening that percent straight away.
Yeah, and you can see that Owl scared Azalea so much that after they got that combo, they just backed right off. They're like, I'm not getting hit by that up air. But that also meant they couldn't punish it, right? So they'll take the stage control, though, and potentially the stock.
But again, Owl's DI is just on another level as well. Great awareness to just know, and that tech chase, catching the neutral get up with the clap of the forward tilt is going to once again put the lead in Owl's favor. This is a really, really scary spot at the moment, and we can see Owl just on the hunt, just sharking their movement, just being that horrible, horrible shadow that Azalea finally manages to eradicate with that back air, but again, forced to play the game up to that 150, 160%. Owl just using that survivability to make this set such an uphill climb for the Falco main.
Yeah, got to be very, very careful here. Azalea accidentally shining in the wrong direction. Owl using that to take some space. Oh, almost! And the
wow, what
going
an
to do
angle!
it. Yep.
So good from OwlBBs, just recognizing, okay, if you've got, again, a little bit of extra time, I could just go for that downwards. I wasn't even sure if that was going to hit ledge, but again, Owl just having that knowledge to know that in that situation, that's exactly the perfect option to go for. And Azalea losing the stock at around about 80%. As well. It's so tricky when you're losing the stocks this early. 18% from the back air, crown out once again. Azalea looking to turn the jets down a little bit, keep that pace nice and slow like we saw in that game one. Don't let Owl get these scary advantage strings started, because we have seen the devastating effects it can have.
Yeah, and you can, like, it feels like Azalea almost has to do twice as much damage, which is exactly what Owl wants, right? Because you're going to take a lot more by virtue of the character that you are, but you can also kill so much earlier. And just really taking advantage of some of the weaker aspects of Falco's disadvantage, and just Owl's own ability to catch people's recoveries and catch people as they try and break out the corner, but Azalea with a beautiful mix-up to give themselves a second chance in this set, perhaps, sitting on the winner's side stock. Could this be it, though? No double jump! Oh, they both whiffed! Unlucky.
So unfortunate. I genuinely thought that Owl just didn't quite have the spacing there, but Azalea just trying to mix up that recovery just to that extent where they